Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on Monday, April 8th, 2019 to talk about the Raw After WrestleMania. I want to apologize for being a little late here tonight. My daughter is actually sick, so I was tending to her, making sure she's all good and back in bed, but we're good to go now. And now we're here to talk about everything that took place tonight on Monday Night Raw. Excuse me. Tonight's Monday Night Raw was the Raw After WrestleMania, usually one of the biggest Raws of every single year, and I've seen better Raws after WrestleMania. We had some very interesting things take place on this show. We had some debuts, we had some returns, we had, I guess, a winner-take-all match that didn't end. Well, we'll talk about what happened there. I mean, it would have gone to an end, so yeah. Golden Draco in the live chat says, man, the main event didn't go as planned, or didn't go as well. Wait, man, the main event really didn't go as well. There you go. Yeah, no, it didn't. So just wait for a couple more of you guys to jump in on the live chat before we get going. And then we'll talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. We'll take your calls and your questions after we do talk about and run down the entire show. We got a bunch of you guys here in the live chat with us. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, I'll just preface it with, they say that the Raw after SmackDown, or the Raw after WrestleMania, is the best and biggest Raw of the year. They say that nothing can compare. They say that, every time we do a Raw after WrestleMania, the crowd's the most rambunctious crowd ever. And to be honest, I didn't think that this was one of those Raw after WrestleMania crowds. I did not think that this crowd was that hot and hyped for this show like we have seen in previous years. So a Raw kicked off with Michael Cole welcoming us to Raw, and it appears his voice has recovered from last night, because last night he was starting to lose his voice by the end of WrestleMania. Rollins came out to start the show and recapped his title victory. They came back, and he had a standing ovation from the crowd with them chanting, "You deserve it." He said, "No, we deserve it." Rollins said that he waited a long time to stand in the ring and hold the title over his head. He said that, it took him a long time to climb Mount Everest and defeat the most dominant champion in the WWE. The crowd then lightly chanted, or a little more than lightly chanted, a thank you, Rollins, for him defeating and taking the title off of, Brock Lesnar. Rollins then thanked the fans for always being behind him. He admitted that he felt like crap after taking a beating from Brock Lesnar. And I don't know what's going on, but Seth had this huge elbow pad on that he normally doesn't wear, and he didn't have on at WrestleMania. So hopefully he didn't tweak or hurt his elbow. Going forward, he did state that he wanted to be the full-time champion, unlike the last champion, Brock Lesnar. Excuse me. Rollins heard that Lesnar and Paul Heyman went to Vegas for some high-profile meetings, but as far as he's concerned, they can stay there. Rollins called himself the reigning, defending, fighting champion. He said he's proud of it. Big E's voice then comes over the loudspeaker, and they're like, "Oh, Brooklyn!" And they're like, "Don't you dare be sour, 5-time tag team champions, and the new WWE champion." And then the New Day come out, and I'm like, what the hell are the New Day doing here on Monday Night Raw? And Seth said the same thing I was thinking. He looks at the New Day, and he goes, "This is Monday, not Tuesday, right?" I thought that was funny. And Xavier Woods put over Rollins' win over Lesnar. Then he mocked Heyman. He was like, Lesnar! And he did the Brock Lesnar thing, and the crowd boos, and Seth goes, yeah, they don't really like him. I thought that was pretty funny. Seth Rollins is great at playing off the crowd. He's just really great. So he's talked about Kofi winning the championship in his first singles one-on-one title match in 11 years. Big E then did the splits, and I was like, what? Big E did like the perfect splits. Like no ifs, ands, buts, problems, issues. Just plop right down. And then he didn't have issues getting up, right? Here's a bloop, right back up. I'm like, okay then. Okay. So, Kofi Kingston said he and his sons watched the main event, and it was winner take all. And now maybe he's got an idea. Maybe they should do a winner take all as well. The crowd starts chanting yes. Kingston said, the Shield aren't around. I'll send the New Day back. One-on-one, you, me, your title, my title, winner take all. Seth thought about it for a second, and he said, challenge accepted. So I was like, ooh, dang. So, main event was set. So we thought. Kofi Kingston, WWE Champion. Seth Rollins, Universal Champion. Both titles on the line, winner take all. So then next up, the Revival actually got a rematch the night after losing their championships. I thought that wasn't supposed to happen anymore. So, Hawkins and Ryder defending against the Revival. Match went about 10 minutes. Cole said seven titles changed hands last night at WrestleMania. That was some sort of a record, I guess. Revival hit a heart attack, which led to a near fall after a commercial break. After the break, Ryder made a hot tag and ran wild on both guys. He dished out a broski boots and tagged in Hawkins, who hit a flying elbow drop for 2. Hawkins landed awkwardly on his leg, and we thought he was hurt, but nope. Again, just like last night, he was faking it, which led to a small package for a near fall. They went back and forth until the Revival hit Ryder with a shatter machine, but Hawkins was the legal man. He slipped in and used a schoolboy on Dawson for the victory. Fine match. Crowd seemed to be behind it, especially the hometown boys of Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, and I was shocked that Hawkins and Ryder retained. I honestly thought this was going to be like when Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental Championship. You hold it for like 24 hours, maybe. But no, Hawkins and Ryder still WWE, or should I just say Raw Tag Team Champions. So next up, Baron Corbin came out for a promo. Talked about his victory over Kurt Angle. And Michael Cole's like, Baron Corbin should be ashamed of himself for what he did to Kurt Angle. And he doesn't elaborate. And Corey goes, for what, Cole? He just picked up the victory at WrestleMania. And he's like, he should be ashamed of what he did to a Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist. And I'm like, Kurt challenged him. Kurt got beat. What is it that Baron Corbin really did wrong, Cole? So he comes out here and just talks about that he's the deserving man, that he's the better man, that he beat Kurt Angle. Crowd starts chanting, shut the fuck up. Corbin played off of that really well. Called New York a bunch of he called the crowd a bunch of dirty New Yorkers. Corbin was used to people doubting him, he said, and last night proved everybody wrong when he defeated the Olympic gold medalist. So as he states that, Kurt Angle's music hits. Kurt Angle comes down to a thank you Kurt chants, and Kurt Angle's like, hey, I gotta admit it. I was beat last night by you, Baron. And I want to wish you the best of luck. Bad luck, and he hits him with an angle slam, and he puts him in an ankle lock, which Corbin gets out of and scurries out of the ring. So Angle's in the ring. The crowd's chanting for Kurt Angle, as this is probably going to be the last time we see him on a Monday Night Raw. And then this music hits that probably most people don't know what this music is, and out comes Lars Sullivan. I was like, ooh, Lars is finally on the main roster. So Lars comes out. Cole said Sullivan was 6'3" and 330 pounds. He got right in Kurt Angle's face, and Kurt didn't back down. He grabbed Kurt, gave him a freak accident, climbed to the top rope, gave him a diving headbutt for good measure, and then left the ring. Crowd was not happy with this. Corey Graves pointed out that, well, actually Michael Cole first said that when we first learned about Lars Sullivan, he became the most sought-after free agent in all of WWE. Corey Graves then iterated that, well, next week, we're finally going to figure out where he's going to be with the Superstar Shakeup. He could land on either Raw or SmackDown. So I'm like that Lars is finally here. I'm glad to see that Lars is doing well. So that's great. They then go forward with an announcement. Well, not really an announcement, but just stating that next week's Superstar Shakeup will be taking place on both Raw and SmackDown in Montreal. So then Alexa Bliss comes out. Hold on, my Amazon Echo's probably going to go off. Nope, okay, it didn't. Always does. Always happens. Gabriel Perez, no, we don't know that yet. It's a very good chance that he's going to be on Raw. Gabriel Perez says Lars is officially on Raw. We don't know that yet because next week I would assume that's what they're doing, but he could always get swerved. He could always, him being on Raw tonight doesn't mean anything yet. They could always still put him on SmackDown next week with the Superstar Shakeup. So Alexa Bliss comes out, and they talked about how on social media earlier in the day, she made a challenge. They were like, she didn't get to wrestle at Mania. She wants to wrestle tonight, and the challenge was accepted online by Sasha or Bayley. And so Bayley accepted the match, and we got a 2 almost 3-minute match between Alexa Bliss and Bayley. Bayley did a sunset flip into a powerbomb early, which drove Bliss headfirst into the turnbuckle. Bayley got a 2 count. Then Bliss followed soon thereafter with a DDT for the clean victory. Not only was it just, Bayley got beat by Alexa, Bayley got beat clean by Alexa. Then it looked like maybe Alexa was going to say something on the mic, the way she was gesturing, but nothing happened. Bayley was beat, Alexa beat her, and that was it. Really, was that needed? Then we learned that tomorrow night on SmackDown, the New Day will be hosting a WWE Championship celebration for Kofi Kingston. And I'm like, so you just told us in the main event that either there's no finish or Kofi's winning both titles. Probably no finish. Which, that is what happened. So Becky Lynch came down. She wore both titles, the Raw title around her waist, the SmackDown Women's title over her shoulder. They aired clips of her win last night at WrestleMania. Did not show that Ronda's shoulders weren't down. So Becky's in the ring. She said 9 years ago she worked in a bar not far from here. And the crowd chanted for her name. She chanted for Becky. They were like, Becky, Becky. And then they chanted, you deserve it. To where she thanked them. She said, thank you for that. We did it. She gleefully cheered and called herself a Becky Two Belt, the champ. And then the crowd chanted that as well. They're like, champ, Becky Two Belt, Becky Two Belt. They were trying to be a Raw After Mania crowd, but they just weren't quite there. Lynch recalled all the months of Ronnie and Rick's daughter running their mouths. But when all was said and done, the woman who walked out with everything was the woman that walked in with nothing. Lynch knew she wasn't the fastest or the strongest person in the company. She left home at 15 years old, and it taught her how to survive, though. She would always find a way to overcome and win in the end, and then they chanted, you're the man, the crowd that is, and she responded with, you hear that, Ronnie? You little weirdo? Lynch said she'd be waiting for Ronda Rousey to come back because she wants to slap the empty head right off of her shoulders. She figured that the McMahons were going to hand Charlotte the tag titles or something because Charlotte's got nothing now. Lynch knew that there was plenty more for her and that competition would be coming. So as Becky's getting out of the ring, we hear the music of Lacey Evans. So Lacey Evans does her deal where she saunters down the ramp, but this time she doesn't walk right back up just real quickly. Excuse me. She walks down and she gets into the face of Becky, actually. To where then she punches Becky in the face with her woman's right hand. Lynch then fights back. The two fight up the ramp. You would think, Lacey punches Becky, and then Becky just gets the best of her. But Lacey was fighting back, giving her a hard time. The two fought and fought and fought. Becky finally tried to put her in the disarmer, and Becky was pulled off of her. But Lacey Evans looked like, she had that look on her face like, I'll catch you one day. I'm gonna get you. So I was like, Lacey's gonna be the next challenger? I was a little shocked by this one. I know they like Lacey Evans and all, but what? They then announced that tonight Dean Ambrose will be having his last WWE match against Bobby Lashley. Backstage, Charlie Caruso asked Seth Rollins why he accepted the title versus title winner-take-all match. Rollins said this was what he loves and lives for. It's the challenge. He admired Kofi and the New Day for challenging him, but he was also a little insulted because he was the champion of Raw, and they don't just come to his show and not think there's consequences. He knew Kingston was capable of an A+ performance, and he would need an A+ performance tonight to take out Kofi. So then we had Ricochet and Aleister Black taking on the team of Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. So this match was just by the books, Raw tag team match, nothing really special here. Went 11 minutes, going to a commercial break early. After a commercial break, Black made a hot tag and hit Roode with strikes. He hit both guys with a springboard moonsault. Black followed with more strikes. Later on, Roode and Gable hit a neckbreaker moonsault combo. Black broke up a cover attempt. Gable went for the Chaos Theory suplex, but Ricochet backflipped out of it and then hit a code breaker for a pinfall win on Chad Gable. Again, not much to talk about in this 11-minute match that was just a by the numbers, by the books, normal Raw tag team match here. Nothing really special took place during the match. So Roode, after the match, then knocked down Ricochet. Black chased him off as Gable and Roode scurried away. So I guess Gable and Roode are heels? Or they're going to do heelish things? So, I don't know. Then backstage, they showed Elias. He talked about his performance last night, being interrupted by John Cena and his rapping. He said that's something that he can do in his sleep. Elias said that the McMahons have given him all the time he wants for a performance tonight. And he warned everybody, if you dare interrupt me, whether you're from Raw, SmackDown, or even NXT, you're going to get it. So then we got Dean Ambrose versus Bobby Lashley. And the match really never happened, actually. So Lashley and Lio Rush cut a promo early about, hey, Dean, when you leave, because this is your last match, don't worry, we'll take care of your wife. And Dean flipped his lid. You don't talk about another man's wife. And so the two started to brawl at ringside. And they brawled all the way up the ramp. Then Ambrose went to clear the announce table. Ambrose hit a DDT. And Rush then attacked him. Ambrose no-sold the attack from Rush at first. This allowed Lashley to regroup. And he speared Ambrose. Then gave him a spine buster onto the table. The crowd chanted, "You still suck." And Dean Ambrose was knocked out here. Renee Young and officials were checking on him. And then we heard, "Thank you, Ambrose" chants. This was supposed to be Ambrose's last match on Monday Night Raw, and he gets laid out. I mean, I would have liked to at least see some sort of a match here. whether it led to just Ambrose losing or a DQ or something, but not this. And they really played up the whole Renee Young wife thing, which is another interesting factor. So then we see backstage Sami Zayn has arrived at Raw. Sami Zayn was walking down, got a huge pop from the crowd, walking down the backstage corridor. Mojo was then yelling at himself in a broken mirror. Michael Cole said he wasn't sure if we would see Young back on commentary tonight, and that Ambrose had been taken to the back for medical evaluation. Now, we do know that after Raw went off the air, Dean Ambrose did give a speech to the live crowd. Just a farewell kind of deal. So Sami Zayn came out to a pretty good pop, and everybody singing his music. They also did the ole, 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 ole. I loved it. We also got welcome back. Sami chanted, welcome back, welcome back. And Sami said, I've been gone for so long, and I've learned one thing, though, with being in WWE. If you can't return to WrestleMania, or if you can't wrestle at WrestleMania, what better way to return than on the Raw After WrestleMania? He said that he's been at home recuperating from shoulder surgery, and now he wants to fight. He wants action. He challenged anybody to come out. Anybody in the back. Anybody, please come fight me. And nobody comes at first, and then Finn Balor's music hits. So Finn comes down to the ring. Now this was weird. He comes down to the ring, and he points at his belt, and he tells the referee and the announcer, I want to put my title on the line here against Sami. And so you hear the announcer, and he goes, Mike Rome goes, this match is scheduled for one fall, and is for the Intercontinental Championship. And it goes straight to commercial. No transition, no nothing, just commercial. And I'm like, did I click a button? Did I change the channel? Did my TV mess up? So I messaged buddy, and I'm like, did your show just cut to a commercial? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, just making sure it wasn't my TV messing up. And so they come back from this abrupt commercial, and we get a championship match, an Intercontinental title match between Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. And there was another spot in the match where Finn knocks down Sami, and then all of a sudden, it's commercial. I don't get it. I think this was the only time that I noticed these abrupt commercial cuts. But Renee Young did come back from commentary, said she didn't want to speak about Ambrose. We see that Sami Zayn has a buzz cut, and Sami Zayn has a buzz cut and a red beard, and looks like freaking, like if at just a glance, looks like Dean Ambrose. So there was dueling chants for both guys early. Zayn was being his obnoxious self. At one point, he did a springboard off of the ropes, and then he played it up in the ring like he lost his balance. He was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, oh, looks like Sami hasn't lost a step in his 9 to 10 months off. It was great. Sami fought out of a rest hold and aggressively chopped and clubbed Balor's chest. These two were hitting each other super hard. Balor came back with the basement dropkick, double foot stomp, and a bunch of chops of his own. Zayn blocked a chop with a big boot. They then traded strikes, leading. So Balor hits him with a Pele kick. I mean, Pele kick's a great move. And Michael Cole, what does he call it? He calls it the overhead kick. He's like, oh yeah, nice overhead kick by Balor. I was like, we know it's called Pele kick, dummy. You've said it before, Michael Cole. So after a commercial break, Zayn nailed a blue thunder bomb for a near fall. Balor came back with a sling blade and a running drop kick. Zayn avoided a coup de grace attempt and used a schoolboy for a near fall. Zayn hit an exploder into the turnbuckle but missed a haluva kick attempt. Balor then hit the coup de grace for the victory to retain his Intercontinental Championship. And then, what happened next was freaking great. I loved it. So Sami comes out initially here tonight, and you think, oh, cool. Babyface Sami Zayn. But that's not what we got. No, it was not. So Balor leaves, and Sami Zayn's in the ring, and he's looking all disheveled. And beaten down. I was like, man, what happened? And he's like, so I learned something in my 10 months gone. And I learned something just tonight. You guys missed me. And he goes, but I really didn't miss you guys. Any of you. He said that the WWE is a toxic environment. But it wasn't because of the McMahons. It was because of the other superstars. It was because of the fans and their ugliness. Zayn said that he lived a meaningful life and a happy life, but the fans lived a meaningless existence. They only received satisfaction from being critics. He called a fan a moron, and that the crowd was very judgmental. Zayn called everybody ugly on the inside and then mocked them for thinking that they were the voice of reason. He said overnight the fans have become the overlords of the WWE, but Zayn always tried to be what was right and teach people what was right. Zayn said that he wasn't here to take over the WWE. He was here to hold the fans accountable because nobody else will. He said, see you in hell. This was great because what did he do? He spoke the truth. Spoke the frickin' truth. And that was all. So we've got a heel Sami Zayn now. And not a ha-ha heel Sami Zayn like we had before with Kevin Owens. We got I'm a heel Sami Zayn. You fans fucking suck. And I don't care what you think of me. And I like it. So backstage, we had Sarah Schreiber of NXT doing the backstage interviewing. And she was so mechanical. But you know what's even more mechanical trying to remember her lines? Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke was like, oh, Becky Lynch, now the champ, and I want to congratulate her on her victory last night. And I'm probably not doing it justice. I'm probably doing it a little better than Dana Brooke did. She was like, I know on both Raw and SmackDown, there will be a lot of challengers for Becky. But as everybody knows, I'm not going to back down. And that I'm no longer at the back of the line. And I'm like, Dana, what are you doing here? You're just making yourself look dumb. Like she was all her pausing. She was like, pause, and you can kind of see the smoke coming out of her ears. Like, what do I say next? What do I say? Oh, next line. What do I say next? What do I say next? Next line. I was like, this was so bad. You could tell they were overly scripted. Both girls trying to remember their lines. The announcer was like, I don't know, very wooden. I was like, eh. So then Elias comes out. He was in the ring. He did his whole little shtick. And he said, Cena was not a musician or an artist. He called himself a fake humble. Elias wanted to show how easy it is to rap, so he doesn't need his guitar to entertain. He began to rap, which included a line about giving Cena the middle finger. He said anyone who interrupted him next would be a dead man. And on cue, soon as he said that, gong, gong, Undertaker comes out. The Undertaker makes his way down to the ring. And honestly, the older the Undertaker gets is actually better for his gimmick, because the older he gets, the closer to death he looks. The older he looks, the more like a quote-unquote dead man that he actually looks. So there comes down a huge pop from the crowd, gets into the ring. Elias looked like he was going to get out of the ring and then goes, you know what? I'm going to get in the face of the Undertaker. I don't know what this fucker was thinking. Undertaker boots him. Choke slam. There you go. I loved that. As Elias was going to get in the Undertaker's face, the crowd goes, Taker's gonna kill you. He then gave Elias a tombstone and covered him 1, 2, 3, even though it wasn't a match. So, as they're about to go to commercial, the camera's right on the Undertaker, got the purple light glowing, and Undertaker's got this weird look on his face like, why the hell am I even doing this? I was like, oof. So then, with 20 minutes left in the show, we get what was supposed to be the winner-take-all WWE Champion Kofi Kingston against Universal Champion Seth Rollins. And there was technically a winner, but no titles changed hands because it was a disqualification. So match goes pretty cool early on. First 90 seconds, both men were really giving it their all. Made this seem like it was an historical moment. Rollins caught Kingston off the top with a drop kick. Rollins went for the curb stomp, but Kingston moved out of the way and used a schoolboy for a 2. He then spiked DDT'd him for another 2. Kingston pushed Rollins off the top rope and he flew into the barricade. Kofi looked like he was going to dive from the top rope to the floor when the Bar ran into the ring. So the Bar run in and they attacked Kofi Kingston and ruined this match. And I didn't really get what happened here. I get it, but I was like, why? Why tease us with this winner take all when you're going to do this bullshit? So Seth gets on the mic and he was like, I don't know about Kofi here, but you just ruined something great. And I want to challenge you two right now. You two, the Bar, against me and Kofi Kingston. What do you say? And we got it. Crowd chanted bullshit at the inset of this little tag team match. It went 9.5 minutes. The match started after commercial break, and the crowd was kind of not paying attention. The announcers tried to place some heat on the Bar for ruining this historic match. Kingston made a hot tag and hit Sheamus with a drop kick and a leg drop. Kingston hit the SOS, but Cesaro broke up the cover. Kingston tried his trust fall dive, and he was caught, so that was victorious. Then Rollins knocked down the Bar with a suicide dive. Kingston followed it up with a flying crossbody on Sheamus for 2. The Bar double-teamed Kingston and hit an assisted white noise, but Rollins broke up the cover. Rollins then took out Sheamus with a super kick on the outside of the ring. Kingston hit Cesaro with Trouble in Paradise. Rollins then followed it up with a curb stomp on Cesaro for the victory. So the champions are victorious against the Bar. But I don't get what this was all for. Why tease us with a winner take all? One man's going to have both the Universal and the WWE Championship. To give us a DQ finish in that and just, I don't fucking know. It was really dumb. And the crowd did not care once that winner-take-all match ended in DQ. Like, they did not care at all for this tag team match. So then, apparently, after the show, Dean Ambrose did like a farewell speech with both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in the ring. And that was Monday Night Raw. Again, not one of your better Raws after WrestleMania. Really, the only, you're supposed to get big surprises on the Raw after WrestleMania. And what did we get? Sami Zayn returned to be a heel, and we got Lars. Other than that, you can say, well, the New Day and Kofi appeared, and he challenged it. It ended in DQ. You can't really say that was anything special, because it wasn't. So I was honestly disappointed with tonight's Raw after WrestleMania. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take calls tonight. Like I said, my daughter's not feeling good, so I have to go check on her, make sure she's doing well. She's coming down with a little bit of a fever. So I want to thank everybody who joined me here tonight to talk Monday Night Raw. I also want to thank all of you that joined us last night to talk about WrestleMania. Great turnout for our WrestleMania review last night. Again, I want to apologize for not being able to take calls tonight. We will take calls tomorrow after SmackDown. Have a great night, guys. Remember to hit that notification bell down below. I saw a lot of you state that you didn't get a notification for tonight's Raw review. If you don't get a notification here from YouTube, then go follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Oh, yes. Daniel Molinax in the chat reminded me of something that I forgot about. Yeah, weird-ass possible Bray Wyatt thing. There was a box with smoke coming out of it, a cardboard box, and then it popped open and this like baby dinosaur head popped out. It was like, and then we got the Bray Wyatt cut at the end. Very weird. I don't know what to take of that, but it was so minuscule that I honestly forgot it even happened. So again, thank you for joining me tonight. We will be live after tomorrow's SmackDown Live. Have a great night, guys.